when you bring people together, you bring companies or people you think you might want to work with, and you spend a day with them, whether hanging out in the guest house or riding a horse or shooting a gun or going fishing, getting to know the people is more important. I said most business I see is based on relationship. You have a good relationship, there's loyalty amongst you, then that's people you want to do business with. And you don't often find that on a Zoom meeting.
Welcome to Veteran Led. I'm your host, John Barry. What can you do to maximize your impact in your business and in your community? Today, we're joined from Camp Cowboy with its founder, Scott Robison, who's a former Special Forces officer, a business leader, a mentor to a lot of people, and an amazing connector. Welcome back to the show, Scott.
Welcome, thank you.
So, Scott, one of the things that you do really well at the ranch, a lot of people see what you do with Camp Cowboy, the equine therapy, helping soldiers, helping veterans, but there's another component to this, which is there's a great networking opportunity every time we come here. We've met famous people here that don't want to be known, highly successful business leaders, and people want to work with you. Why is that?
I pay them a lot. No, I'm just joking. I don't know. I think life is built on being genuine, and life is built on relationships. And if you establish very good relationships and you do right by people, people always want to come back to you at any given time. So in business, a lot of time business, there might be two companies that have the same widget, but the one that has the better relationships is going to get that done. So you go through life and you have one name for yourself, and if you do well, people want to continue coming back to you. So if you always do right, they're going to circle back to you. So I think relationships is the key. Loyalty, I think that's the other key.
Loyalty. And Scott is a very, very humble person. And in fact, so humble that even though he is a former Special Forces soldier, Ranger qualified, multiple deployments, he didn't wear anything on his ASUs. He kept it clean, never wore awards or patches. And I'd love that if you could tell us the story about your boss.
Oh no. All right. Well, it wasn't all the time, but just certain times. So I worked at a place called Operational Test Command, and we test a lot of new technology for the military, and I'd been there for a few years and came back from Iraq, and we had a new colonel that just came in, and like I said, sometimes I didn't wear my patches, but it was the time where we used to have the Velcro patches, so I didn't wear my patches all the time, and I just wear a soft cap instead of a beret, and this guy came in, he's like, I just got back from Iraq, and I was an assistant S3 air, I'm an operator, I just got back from Iraq, and he thought that most of the guys there were not combat qualified because they didn't have their combat patches. So as kind of a smart alecky thing, I'd go into the office and I'm like, tell me what it was like when you were in the shit. Tell me what it was like when you were an operator. Tell us another story about being downrange. And he would bite it. And he would start telling us stories about, being in Iraq and living on a fob and doing different stuff. So I just messed with him all the time. Tell me what it was like when you were in the shit, and all the time. And then I just got back from Iraq, and then Navy SEALs had put me in for a NAM, a Navy Achievement Medal. So the general was like, Scott, put your stuff on. We're going to have an award ceremony. Put all your stuff on. So I'm like, all right, sir. So I put all my stuff on. I come walking out the door, and he's looking at me. He's like, what is all that? I'm like, hey, I just wanted to look good for the award ceremony. Don't say nothing, but I went to the PX, and I bought all these tabs and badges, and I just wanted to look really good. And he's like, you can't do that. That's stolen valor. I'm like, nobody's going to know. I just wanted to look good. Just let it go. Just let it go. And he's like, oh, no, that's stolen valor. You can't do that. And he was yelling for the secretary, I want to see Robison's ORB. He's stolen valor. And he pulls out the ORB, and he looks at it. He's like, oh, shit.
And I think that's something about, assumptions we make, right? It's that sometimes we look at people and what they've done and based on their badges or their rank, or at least in the military, and their accomplishments, I think that's the person, but that's not the person. And yet those first impressions are extremely important. And I just saw you today mentor a young veteran who has some trade skills and is looking for a job. And you said, I'll get you a job. And what advice do you give, Scott?
So I told him to, comb his hair, shave his beard, clean up, go get the nicest jacket he has, build a little bit of a resume. And I said, go find a company, and don't just send him a resume. Don't just send him something online. Go there, knock on the door, and ask to speak to the owner. Not just the secretary, not want to drop a resume, but go put your best foot forward and tell them, hey, these are my skills. This is what I like to do. I'd like a job. And sometimes all you have to do is ask. We've done that with other people. They do the same thing. They clean up a little bit, put the best sports coat they can get on, or go get one from wherever they can get, look the part, and come up with a plan of action and go ask. And more than likely, those owners are going to give a job. I go back to my dad. My dad had a business for 40, 50 years. And he said if somebody sent a resume in, he wouldn't read it. But if they came in, knocked on the door, walked in with their resume, he would stop what they're doing and give them an interview. Give them that opportunity. They may not fit, but he would give them that interview and give them that opportunity. So I think most owners want people to come work for them. They want people that are assertive. So walk in, look them right in the eye and tell them you want a job and tell them why you deserve the job, and you're probably going to be successful.
Yeah, and that has withstood the test of time. I think a lot of people will say, well, that's something that may have worked in the 1960s, but it doesn't work now. But it works now more than ever. And I think it does for a few reasons. I think, number one, it shows that this person has guts to come in and ask for something. Number two, it shows that they have the initiative to do something. They're not just going to send in a resume. They are going to get out of bed, shave, or whatever, put on makeup, whatever it is, and show up as if they have the job, act confident, be respectful, be polite, and ask for the job. And I think that initiative is greatly missing. And it always has been. People love people with initiative. But the third thing is, from the perspective of the employer, and I used to be this when we were a much smaller organization, I was not good at forecasting when we would need our next team member. And so inevitably what would happen is someone would leave the organization for one reason or another. Sometimes they had a better opportunity. Sometimes they got in trouble. And then all of a sudden we're down an employee at that skill level. And it's like, oh my gosh, as a business owner who's doing the work, I'd find that I was working in the business and on the business. So daytime was for people, nighttime was for paper. I didn't have time to send out, do a help wanted at it. And back then, of course, they didn't have all the job boards they have now, but I didn't have time to do that. And so, when someone came to me, and usually it was through referrals, but someone came to me and they looked and they took the initiative, a lot of times I wanted to hire them. And the reason why I wanted to hire them was because I needed somebody at that time. I saw somebody with initiative, and I saw somebody who had the guts to ask for what they wanted. And to me, those are the three critical things that I was really looking for. And so when that would happen, I would almost always hire the person, or at least I really wanted to hire that person.
Quite often, people from Camp Cowboy, people come to the ranch, and they know we have a ranch. And I get calls all the time, hey, are you hiring? The answer is no. But if somebody comes out here, looks me in the eye, or looks my son in the eye and says, hey, I need a job, I need a little work, I will give them. I'll find something for them to do. And it's it's not for long term. I don't want them to be here long term. Just something to get some money in their pocket, get on their feet, and then figure out what we can send them down the road and get another job. So, but if somebody comes out and has initiative to come see me, look me right in the eye, face to face, say, I want a job, we hire them. We always hire them something. We'll give them a temporary part-time job, or we'll find something for them to do, or I'll find somewhere else they can work. But the guys that pick up the phone and call me like, are you hiring? The answer is no. It's always no.
Yeah, and don't be, misled. Scott he's not just the founder of Camp Cowboy, and his son Lane actually runs it and does a great job, but Scott's involved with Camp Cowboy, but he's also involved with several other businesses. So he doesn't have a whole lot of time, and no one has spare time, but he doesn't have a whole lot of time to do it, but it is of his own generosity and his desire to continue to build our veteran community that he does this, that he wants veterans to get jobs, and he will help them. And the other side of the coin, I learned this, when I was a lawyer studying law school studying negotiations before I became a lawyer, was, a lot of times you don't know the cards the other person's holding. And it may be that employer needs you just as much as you need a job. And the only way you're going to find out is if you ask. And let me tell you something, if you're going to be successful, you have to get used to hearing the word no.
Yep.
Not everything is a fit. And one thing that I greatly admire about you, Scott, is that you are always looking for new opportunities, always looking for ways to help, always looking for ways to connect people. Where did that come from? Where did you learn that skill?
Man, I don't know. Maybe it goes back from the military school. You and I both went to New Mexico Military Institute, and you have so many different leaders that they're above you and below you and everything else. It's a leadership factory. So throughout your time there, you kind of figure out, hey, these are the good leaders, these want to emulate, and these are the bad leaders, these are the ones you learn from them, but this is not what I want to be like. So maybe part of that is connecting with your buddies when you're new cadets there, and kind of having that camaraderie and figuring it out, or figuring out what's good leaders and what's bad leadership there. But that was kind of the start. And now, I don't know, maybe it's just the way my brain works or whatever, but I just kind of look for opportunities all the time. My brain if you're around a group of people and this guy's like, I have a business that does this, I'm like, well, you should probably be working with this business that does that, and you perfect connection. And I don't know, for some reason, I just see that and make the connections. And And maybe because in the military, I looked at so many different technologies. I think over the 8-10 years there, I probably looked at over 300 different technologies. And quite often I don't forget a lot of those. So I have a big basket of companies that I'm like, oh, you should be working with this company, or this company does that, and that company does this. And I can kind of connect the dots. It's kind of easy for me.
Well, I imagine after so many years of practice and doing it, that it becomes second nature. And one thing that you have done extremely well, and it's one thing that I'm jealous of. I haven't been able to master this yet, but here you are, you live on this beautiful ranch, and yet when I see you, you're still working all the time, but you make the time to ride horses, you make the time for social events. And yet when you're here, you're also in this nice, peaceful, serene environment, conducting business. And you figured out a way to do that. So how were you able to do that? I mean, you have an office, but you're not a person who takes a lot of phone calls or does a lot of office work.
Man, I find that at the ranch, you're more business in that little guest house that you're hanging out here. More business goes on there than probably anywhere that I know of. But I think it's when you bring people together, you bring companies or people you think you might want to work with, and you spend a day with them, whether hanging out in the guest house or riding a horse or shooting a gun or going fishing or hanging out. You decide if you want to, if this is somebody you want in your life that you want to do stuff with, and you get to know them. It's a lot easier than sitting in a boardroom on a Zoom call or doing phone calls. But getting to know the people is more important. I said most business I see is based on relationship. You have a good relationship, there's loyalty amongst you, then that's people you want to do business with. And you don't often find that on a Zoom meeting or a first call or a second call or a PowerPoint slide brief or whatever else. But getting to know them, and then you can kind of figure out what makes them tick.
Yeah, and I've seen you do this for years. And I read Stanley McChrystal's book on character recently, and he talked about, well, what would you do differently going into Afghanistan to change things? He said, go whitewater rafting. But his whole thing was get together, maybe drink some beer, but build trust with the stakeholders, the key players, before you dive into the business side of it. And you do that well. It's social, but it's also business. You mix them both, but you mix them to a degree where people come here, they feel relaxed, they feel like they can trust. And I think our last guest just said, the things happen at the speed of trust. And you were able to really, there's an element of trust here. And what I've heard from some of the Camp Cowboy students was they come here, and a lot of them are dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder and other problems in their life that are service related. And sometimes it's a physical issue, sometimes it's a financial issue. They come here and they said, this place is so serene. People are so trusting and trustworthy that the outside world just kind of melts away. And they feel like, that they're now in this great environment. And I can't remember who said it, but environment really is your looking glass. That's how you see the world. So how is it that you're able to keep yourself in that environment where you seem to always be happy, always have something going on, always giving back, and you don't seem to burn out, and you have more energy than most people I know, and you're older than me.
Well, I don't know. Well, just barely. No, I'm not. I guess I am older. No, man, I think if you live life with a little levity, live life enjoying yourself. We always talk with the Camp Cowboy people. There's nothing you can do about anything that's already happened in your life. Nothing at all in the past, good, bad, or indifferent. You can learn from it, but nothing you can do to change it. But all you can do is worry about today and what you can do tomorrow. So if you concentrate, hey, what kind of person can I be today? What can I enjoy today? Enjoy every single day. I try to enjoy every single day. Do something fun, enjoy the people I'm around, and then look what kind of person you can be tomorrow. Focus on that and not focus on going backwards, and you're going to be successful.
And we've already done the after-action review with your great examples of leadership and poor examples of leadership. So we won't do that in this episode. If you want to hear Scott's examples, go back to the previous episode. Listen to all of them. But Scott, I did want to end this with, what is the Camp Cowboy motto? And what does it mean to you?
Make a difference every day. If you make a small difference in somebody's life, good, bad, indifferent, little difference, just talking to them, taking 10 minutes and visiting with them, or largely find them a job or find them a good path or give them an azimuth. You make a small difference, you're better off for it. So I truly believe in that. Every day if I get up, I see somebody, I try to engage them, talk to them. I don't care if that person can't help me or not. But you make the difference in the smallest person's life. We're having breakfast this morning. You make fun of the ladies at the I'd say not dining facility, but the cafeteria.
Well, you didn't make fun of them. You let them make fun of you.
Well, you let them make fun of me, but they laugh, and you ask for the good-looking man discount, and the lady giggles like, man, this chubby old dude's asking for a good-looking man discount. But you actually got it. So today they give me 10% off because I was with Pretty Boy here, and it worked out pretty well. But so, yeah, just make somebody's life, make them laugh a little bit, and you're better off for it. So I challenge everybody on this podcast to try to make a difference in somebody's life. Just a little or big, it doesn't matter, but make a difference in somebody else's life and you'll be better off for it.
thank you for joining us today on Veteran Led, where we pursue our mission of promoting veteran leadership in business, strengthening the veteran community, and getting veterans all of the benefits that they earned. If you know a leader who should be on the Veteran Led podcast, report to our online community by searching @Veteran Led on your favorite social channels and posting in the comments. We want to hear how your military challenges prepared you to lead your industry or community, and we will let the world know. And of course, hit subscribe and join me next time on Veteran Led.